Good evening to all. I am Barathi, Assistant Professor of Education, Tamil Nadu Open University. Now in this session, we will discuss about the topic on critical thinking and creative thinking. End of this session, I hope that you will be able to understand the importance and the strategies of improving critical thinking and creative thinking, type of critical thinking and creative thinking. We will discuss one by one. First, we see the critical thinking. Then slide change ஆயிருக்குங்களா? Okay, sorry. We will discuss one by one. First, we see the critical thinking. What is critical thinking? Critical thinking is a mode of thinking about any content, subject, or problem in which the thinker improves the quality or their thinking by skillfully. It also refers to the ability to think clearly, logically, and rationally about what to do and what to believe. A person who has critical thinking skills, he is able to recognize the logical connections between ideas, identify, construct and evaluate opinions, detect discrepancies and common mistakes in reasoning, resolve problems systematically, identify the significance and relevance of ideas, reflect on the justification of individuals' own beliefs and values. Next, definition of critical thinking. There are many definitions available on critical thinking. Here we will see some important definitions. According to John Dewey, critical thinking as active, persistent, and careful consideration of any belief or supposed form of knowledge in the light of the grounds that support it and the further conclusion to which it tends. Paul defined critical thinking identifying three thoughts, traits, and or process passed by the critical thinker. They are elements of reasoning, traits of reasoning, and the reasoning standards. Halpern defined that critical thinking is the use of cognitive skills or strategies that increase the probability of a desirable outcome. Question presented that critical thinking is a powerful reflective judgment which manifests itself in reasoned consideration of evidence, context, methods, standards, and conceptualization in deciding what to believe or what to do. According to Clark John, critical thinking is self-directed, self-disciplined, self-monitored, and self-corrective thinking. Next, importance of critical thinking. Critical thinking helps individuals to understand themselves, their goals in a creative way by judging all beliefs and contents. Following list shows the importance of critical thinking for more understanding. First one is critical thinking is a field general thinking skill. The ability to think clearly and realistically is important whatever we intend to do. If you work in the education field, research, management, or any other profession or job, we need critical thinking abilities. Critical thinking skills are not confident to a specific subject or field area, able to think well and solve problems systematically are an advantage over any job or career. Second one is critical thinking is needed in new knowledge economy. The global knowledge economy is derived by information, communication, and technology. The, the new economic demands flexible intellectual skills and the ability to analyze information and integrate diverse sources of knowledge in solving problems. Next one is critical thinking promotes language and presentation skills. It is necessary to think clearly and systematically to express our ideas. Critical thinking improves comprehension ability, ultimately promotes language and presentation skills. Then critical think develops creativity. New ideas are to be generated to solve problems or to bring out new and novelty in any field. Critical thinking plays a vital role in analyzing and evaluating new ideas and judging the best one. And also, critical thinking is vital for self reflection. Self reflection is paying attention to our thoughts, emotions, decisions, and behavior intentionally, which are all streamlined through critical thinking. And next is critical thinking is the foundation of science and democracy. Science involves the critical use of reason in experimentation and theory confirmations. The proper functioning of the liberal democracy needs citizens who can critically about social issues, critically to convey their opinions about appropriate governance and to overcome bias and prejudice. Next, strategies for improving critical thinking. The following strategies improve critical thinking of an individual. First one, put questions to identify exact problem. When you want to solve a problem, instead of asking knowledgeable and instinct questions, you break down the issue and ask fundamental questions. Suppose you encounter a new problem either in workplace or life, you start by asking the following questions. What information do you already have about this problem? How do you know the above information? What is your goal and what are you trying to discover, prove or disprove, and support or criticize? What might you be overlooking? This type of question help you to enter into the core of the problem, interrogating it for simple solution before assuming that the problem is complex. You write the answer to the above questions when problem comes in which will help you to come for solving problems. Next one is gather data, opinions and arguments. We have to try finding several sources of information that present different ideas and points of view on the specific area of issue that we want to deal. Then analyze and evaluate the data. We have to find whether all sources collected are reliable, whether their conclusions are data backed or judge argumentative, whether there is enough data to support the given hypothesis. Next one, identify assumptions. We have to make sure that the sources we found are unbiased. We also should make sure that we are not biased in search for answers. Next, establish significance. We should see what piece of information is most important and whether the sample size is sufficient and whether all opinions and arguments are relevant to the issues that we are trying to solve. Arrive decisions and conclusions. We have to identify various conclusions that are possible and decide which of them are sufficiently supported. We have to weigh strategy and limitations of all possible opinions. Finally, we have to bring out final decision and conclusion on the issue that we face. Communicate that result. Once we have achieved the result or conclusion for our problem, it shall be communicated openly. Next one is meaning of creativity. Everyone has an ability to create thinking, but very few people take opportunities to expose such abilities. Creative thinking manifests itself in multitude ways. A graphic artist creates brilliant logos. A photographer captures extraordinary photographs. A novel writer narrates interesting stories. A customer designer designs elegant dresses. Creating Creative thinking drives innovative and progress in every field in the digital technology. The high level of creative thinkers are required for designing a app, assembling a robot, creating artificial intelligence applications, and developing social media networking. Creativity is the ability to produce a thought or an idea that is completely new, novel, appealing, and useful. Creative thinking is a skill that enables you to come up with original and unconventional ideas. Creative thinking is an ability to look into matter or material in a new approach. It might be a new approach to a problem, a strategy to solve conflict issues in workplace, or a new outcome from a data set. Employers are in need of people with creative thinking abilities to bring new perspectives to the workplace. Next one is definition of creative thinking. The following are the important definitions of creative thinking. Here we will see some important definitions. According to Campbell and Gray, creative thinking is the thinking that allows students to apply their imagination to generate ideas, questions, and hypotheses, experiment with alternatives, and to evaluate their own and their peers' ideas, final products, and processes. Business Dictionary defines that creative thinking is a way of looking at problems or situations from a fresh perspective that suggests unorthodox solutions. Creative thinking can be stimulated both by an unstructured process such as brainstorming and by a structured process such as lateral thinking. Next, creative thinking skills. Creative thinking includes analysis, open-mindedness, problem solving, organization, and communication. Now we see one by one. Analytical. First, we have to analyze the problem or situation or issue before thinking creatively. Second one is open-mindedness. First, we must set aside all our assumptions, then look at things in a completely new way in different dimensions. Then problem solving. In problem solving, we can use our creative abilities to solve important issues. Next, organization. In organization, we have to structure a plan of action with clear goals and deadlines. The last one is communication. We must have strong written and oral communication skills to communicate your solutions effectively. Next one is importance of creative thinking. The following points bring out the importance of creative thinking. Number one, creative thinking is essential. We are a digital era. Today, robots are capable of clicking photographs even in Mars. Yet some photographs or artists stand out because they reflect the mind and intent of a talented professional. Automation in many industries has replaced the job of people. However, creative thinkers are in high demand because originality is irreplaceable. Therefore, creative thinking is indispensable. The second one is creative thinking gives us freedom. Creative thinking flourishes when individuals and groups are free from artificially imposed restrictions. Look at how a child imagination flies boundlessly. Children are naturally creative thinkers because they are not yet bound by the constraints of the society. We have to set our mind to explore other perspectives in different directions. Then we have to organize our ideas according to our objectives and see the difference. We might have heard how famous filmmakers, lyrics, and music directors go to hill station or remote places to write, brainstorm, and compose. Next, creative thinking helps problem solving process. Creative thinking is important in solving the problems. It enables us to face a challenge and find alternatives in all angles to arrive strategies for solving problems. Creative thinkers bring out new ideas, opinions, and opportunity to deal with the problems effectively. Such creative thinker is wanted everywhere for promoting any form. Then creative thinking adds to leadership qualities. If you notice the history of inspiring leaders from various walks of life, they are quoted as example for creative thinkers because they achieve the highest level of excellence on the back of extraordinary ideas that have the potential to change the society or nation. Then creative thinking boosts productivity. Albert Einstein says logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Creative thinkers go behind the boundaries and imagine endlessly to make the things blooming. Steve Jobs is considered as one of the example for striking creative thinker. This co-founder of Apple Computers had a vision that transformed people's lives with several revolutions, beginning with the personal computer, then iPad, and later iPhone. An industry that encourages creative thinking in employees without posting fear or failure is a productive workplace. Then creative thinking makes people happier. If an individual is provided a free hand to apply his her creative thinking ability, it will make him happy and ultimately happens spread to others. This kind of encouragement and liberation yield more constructive results in the workplace. Walt Disney filmmakers chased his dream to make people happy through entertainment. He used a work imagineering, that is imagination plus engineering, to bring his vision to life. Then creative thinking leads to personal growth. Creative thinking pushes you out of your comfort zone and transfer you to a creative zone. People who have big dreams and long-term goals rely on their creative thinking. The most you create, the most you grow, and the quality of your life goes up. You also apply your creative thinking ability to bring out your creative output, which will help you to grow. Next, types of creative thinking. We learned that creative thinking is imaginative, generate many possible solutions, is divergent, and is lateral thinking. Now let us discuss the various types of creative thinking. First one is divergent thinking. It is a thought process used to generate creative ideas by exploring many possible solutions. It occurs in a spontaneous and free-flowing manner. It explores multiple views with flexibility, fluency, and originality to find a solution for a problem. The second type is lateral thinking. It explores new ideas that may not be obtainable using only traditional step by step method. It involves out of box thinking. The third one is aesthetic thinking. It is an individual capacity to appreciate art and beauty around. Then systems thinking. It identifies an interaction between thinking and observes them from different angles. The fifth one is impressional thinking. It awakeness us to new possibilities to excel in our ordinary experiences. Inspirational thinking propels a person from laziness to achievement. Then abstract thinking. It is the ability to think about objects, principles, and ideas that are not physically present. It is related to symbolic thinking, which uses the substitutions of a symbol for an object or idea. And the seventh one is design thinking. It is both ideology and a process that seeks to solve complex problems in a user-centric way. It is to apply strategy, solve problem, and make decision in the process of designing. Research indicates that the industries which gives importance to create thinking skills outperform other competitors in every functional era. Next one is benefits of creative thinking. When we develop our creative thinking skills, it is highly beneficial for our any field of work. In every field, people are required to come up with the best solution to everyday problems that arise, and creativity is critical to do that. Creative thinking is helps for ability to create the best solution to identify issues, improvement on problem solving for not only workplace related matters but also in our personal life, higher workplace involvement in daily activities, a better understanding of data, focus on self-improvement to develop more soft skills, more effective teamwork and bonding since we learn from each other's creative traits. Next one is enhancing creative thinking. Creative thinking is to be enhanced among individuals to attain productive outcomes. The following are some tips that could enhance, promote creative thinking. Try to find your strategies in order to incorporate more of them in your life. Not your inner heart and explore the qualities of freedom, purity of thoughts, and spontaneous of expression. Avoid stereotypical things, ideas, think differently, as said by Sue Ferreira. Winners don't do different things, but do things differently. Take a different route to communicate your thoughts or ideas. Enjoy in nature settings and set your imagination free to explore and experiment. Be curious and inquisitive about your surroundings. Don't hesitate to take risks. Get rid of your negative attitude that is blocking your creativity. Intellect in brainstorming to stimulate new ideas. Always remember that any problem will have multiple solutions. So try to explore all possibilities. Next one is critical thinking versus creative thinking. Critical thinking is convergent, creative thinking is divergent. Critical thinking seeks to assess worth or validity in something that exists, and creative thinking tries to create something new. Creative thinking is carried out by applying accepted principles. Creative thinking is carried on by violating accepted principles. Although creative and critical thinking may very well be different sides of the same coin. They are not identical. The critical thinking that is convergent. Creative thinking is divergent. It is assessing worth or validity in something, creating something new, carried on by applying accepted principles, carried on by passing accepted principles. Left brain, right brain, vertical, lateral, probability, possibility, judgment, suspended judgment, focused, diffuse, verbal, visual, linear, associative. Next, the conclusion. Critical thinking is the ability to think in an organized, logical, and rational way in order to understand connections between ideas and our facts. Whereas creative thinking is the process of nurturing imagination and allowing to think out of the box in order to bring out new, novel, and innovative things and our ideas. Strategies for improving critical thinking includes putting questions to identify exact problem, gathering data, opinions and arguments, analyzing and evaluating the data, identifying assumptions, establishing significance, arriving decisions and conclusions, and communicating the results. There are 7 types of critical thinking, such as divergent thinking, lateral thinking, aesthetic thinking, systematic thinking, inspirational thinking, abstract thinking. and decision making.